Welcome to the Zoning Subcommittee of the Revere City Council for June 2nd, 2025. All rise and salute the flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call of the members. Councilor Argenzio.
Here.
Here. Councilor Guarino Sawaya.
Here.
Here. Councilor Jaramillo. Absent. Councilor Novoselsky. Here. And Chairman Zambuto.
Here.
Here. Quorum is present. First item on tonight's agenda, special permit application of New York Capital Investment Group, LLC, 500 Turnpike Street, Canton, Mass., requesting a special permit for a car wash use at 350 Squire Road.
Mr. Attorney.
Good afternoon, Subcommittee. My name is Attorney Jerry D'Ambrosio, and I'm located at 14 Proctor Avenue. This is the subcommittee hearing for my client's special permit regarding 350 Squire Road. At the public hearing 2 weeks ago, I believe we provided a pretty good detailed understanding of the plans. I think it's safe to say that I've also detailed our position as well as further evidence in our May 14th, 2025 letter to the City Council, which again I incorporate herein by reference, as that letter lays out the legal position, the legal standards, and the facts as they apply to those standards, as well as all of the exhibits. I often do that as an extra submission, if you will, because I want to put you all to bed before it's time for bed at night. But it's also a very important part of any subsequent litigatory proceeding. That's why I do it. It's actually not to overbill my client who's sitting here, but it's very important that the record of these proceedings include that evidence, so that if there is any kind of appeal, that a land court or superior court judge could see what was before the board. So that's why I submit it. That being said, I believe this parcel, everybody knows it, it's a current blight on Squire Road. It's been a blight for nearly 10 years. There's been a number of other projects, including a large-scale housing project that was proposed here that didn't go forward. I've represented the owners of that property as well as the current proponents before you. We do believe that the car wash proposal is an excellent one. It is one that really enhances the property with a modern, state-of-the-art building that uses all brand-new, code-compliant car wash features, as well as business features, structural features. I also think that the property, the new project itself, in terms of congestion and traffic, is much better than some of the other uses that are allowed by either right or special permit along Squire Road. It by far, as a matter of science, and the traffic studies show that it brings almost the least amount of traffic for most of the common uses. And then when you add in that it's usually closed on average 90 days a year, that really does help even more. And why do I say it's closed 90 days a year? Because no one gets their car washed on a snowy day in New England. No one gets their car washed on a rainy day in New England. No one gets their car washed on a severely cloudy day in New England. So it is indeed a minimal, impactful use for this issue, for this area. I think what's also important here is that this proposal before you was not the first proposal that came out. We had a number of community meetings in that area. And we had nearly 24 neighbors show up early on. And because of their input, we actually reconfigured the entire project in terms of size, where it was positioned, and how it was positioned. So the plans before you are not something that we initially submitted. They were plans that were the byproduct of at least 2 community meetings with the neighbors, as well as a number of other individual meetings. As a result of that, this project garnered 10 letters of support from the neighbors. 10. I believe a number of people actually spoke in favor of it last time as well. I don't believe they're here tonight, but they've submitted letters. I think we had one opponent last time, and even that opponent has now withdrawn his objection and submitted a letter of support, and that was entered into the record today, and I believe you all have that. And I think the reason for that was because of the collaboration between the community, between my client, and as well as the city council and members of the city council. One other point I want to bring up, tax. The amount of property tax that the city of Revere is going to recoup is going to jump significantly. Is it twice? Is it 3 times? Is it 4 times? It's going to depend on how the city calculates it. We know that this is a $3 million construction project plus the cost of the property, and it's going to provide more property taxes to the city of Revere, an important point. And then finally, one thing that I didn't bring up at the last meeting, but I think is very important that I bring up, the owners of this car wash, Nair and Ronan Drury, and Nair is here sitting to my left in the back. They are well-known brothers. They live not too far from Revere. They own approximately 25 of these facilities throughout the state. I've known them for quite a while. I've done other work for them. And they are stand-up guys. They are not just going to show up here today and disappear. They are going to be involved in this community. And in terms of community involvement, they want to make it clear that they are going to provide free services to local public safety apparatus for the city of Revere. So if you have situations where you have a bad storm and there's salt and ice that's corroding fire trucks, they're going to be there to help clean those fire trucks. They are not disappearing. If a Little League needs support, they're going to be there for the Little League. If any other charitable organization in the city needs help, they will be there. They will be there because they have a number of these facilities. And in addition to that, they live nearby. So they're not going to disappear. They're not going to simply open up a car wash or 2 or 3 and never be around again in the city. They're going to be very involved. That being said, I'm here to answer questions. The project engineer's here, but I'll leave it to the chairman.
Thank you. I'm gonna open this up to councilors. No? 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 Yes, we're gonna read the conditions. Please.
Site Plan Review Committee has submitted several conditions for the special permit if approved. 1, there shall be no vehicular access or egress provided from Keeney and Augustus Streets. The landscape and buffer plan shall include the installation of an 8-foot-high stockade fence and the planting of 34 evergreens along the rear of the property between the abutting residential properties and the project site. The landscape plan shall be in compliance with the landscaping plan filed with the special permit and dated April 15th, 24. 3, there shall not be any illuminated or digital signage allowed within the site. 4, a street and sidewalk bond must be placed on file with the DPW to secure performance for the installation of utilities, construction of concrete sidewalks and granite curbing, construction of driveways, construction of retaining walls, if applicable, and landscaping. 5, a sewer connection and water connection permit must be obtained from the DPW. The city engineer and DPW superintendent must review and approve the proposed sewer service and water service plan, as well as a stormwater management plan. 6, the plans must be reviewed and approved by the fire department. 7, the project proponent must pay a sewer mitigation fee, which is based on 10 times the number of GPD of water use times $1.30 per gallon. The sewer mitigation fee shall be utilized to remove inflow and infiltration from entering the sewer system and shall be paid to the city of Revere in 2 installments, 50% prior to the issuance of the building permit and 50% prior to the issuance of an occupancy permit. 8, concrete sidewalks with granite curbing shall be installed along the full frontage of the property on Keeney Street and Augustus Street, including the planting of 2 deciduous trees at the back of the sidewalk on each street. 9, all existing drains, water lines, and sewer lines within the site shall be abandoned and capped at the main and removed. 10, the building design and materials plan, as well as the landscaping and streetscape plan, shall be approved by the Site Plan Review Committee. 11, the site lighting scheme within the site, and all lights within the parking areas that may impact abutting residential properties shall provide screens, deflectors, and/or soft or directional lighting to minimize light being reflected on abutting residential properties. 12, a traffic impact analysis shall be prepared for the proposed development, and the developer shall be responsible for undertaking all pedestrian and traffic safety measures recommended in the traffic study. 13, all landscaped and open space areas to be maintained by the owner of the property. The annual landscape maintenance program shall include the replacement of all trees and shrubs which may be damaged within the project site, weed control, mulching, grass cutting, watering, and fertilizing. The owner of the property shall be responsible for the removal of all litter and debris within the project site. 14, in accordance with Chapter 1747 of the Revere Revised Ordinances, the Capital Improvement Trust Fund is applicable to this project. Under the Community Improvement Trust Fund, the developer must contribute 3% of the cost of construction above and beyond what is allowed as of right towards the fund, which must be spent exclusively towards capital improvement projects within the impacted area. 15, irrigation systems shall be installed for all landscaped areas within the project site. And lastly, the project site shall be subject to the completion of an environmental assessment.
We have a member that just showed up, and I want to give him a chance if he wants to weigh in on this car wash.
It's okay, I think I've seen it all. Thank you.
See enough of it?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, sir.
Well, Madam Clerk, you want to get the will of the council? So I need a committee member to make a motion here.
I'll make a motion to send this to the council with a favorable recommendation.
That's on the floor.
Shall the zoning subcommittee offer a favorable recommendation to the full city council to grant the relief requested, subject to those conditions? Councilor Argenzio?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Guarino Sawaya?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Jaramillo?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes, and Chairman Zambudo is recused. The special permit has received a favorable recommendation, will be forwarded to the full city council this evening.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Good night.
Next application is 250 Lieber Bank Highway LLC, 20 Railroad Street, Revere, Mass., requesting a special permit from the Revere City Council to enable the appellant to reconstruct the existing building with a new two-story commercial structure with a total of 26 parking spaces at 250 Lieber Bank Highway.
Attorney Lynch.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Chairman. Pleasure to be here. And through you to the members. For the record, my name is Richard Linz. I'm an attorney with the business address of 245 Sumner Street in East Boston on behalf of Lee Burbank Highway LLC, the petitioner. My right person who is the project architect. Mr. Chairman, I have a very brief PowerPoint to include for the edification of the members of the subcommittee. And as the clerk is bringing that up, I just will give a brief overview of what our project entails. So, as the clerk had indicated, we are proposing a reconstruction of existing commercial building located at 250 Lee Burbank Highway. It presently sits on an approximately 23,000 square foot site. There's an existing building on the site presently, which sits at about 2 stories, that's used for a combination of office and warehousing and storage. Our proposal would reconstruct this building entirely. It is quite old and requires a significant amount of improvement. And in doing so, we would replace that in kind with a 2-story commercial building for office space. That would be used, or continue to be used, to house offices and operations center for Capital Waste. Capital Waste maintains over 150 employees, many who do reside here in the city of Revere. It has operated at this site for many years and will continue its operations at that location. If we can jump down to slide 3, or actually let's go to slide 4, just to give the members a little bit of an orientation of the site as where it's located. So this is located in the TED zoning subdistrict. It is, as the members are probably well aware, a pretty industrial area surrounded by McClellan Highway, Revere Beach Parkway, as well as other industrial uses, as well as the railroad. Our site is located where we've identified that square. That is the existing 2-story structure that will be entirely demolished and rebuilt. In order to do that, as evidenced by the site plan review letter, we do require a special permit from the council under section 17 I believe it's 0.40030 for reconstruction of non-conforming structures. As the chair and the members are aware, in order for the council to grant a special permit, it's our obligation to demonstrate that the council's requirement to make a determination that the reconstruction of this building would not be more substantially detrimental than the existing non-conforming structure to the neighborhood. I would point out, and just for purposes of the record, to make it clear, there are several existing nonconformities with respect to this particular site. The first is the lot size. In the TED district, 25,000 square feet is the minimum required. We have 22,683 square feet. We're proposing to make no change with respect to the size of this lot, and therefore the size will remain the same. With respect to open space, currently there's no open space on the site as defined by the Revere ordinance. The 15% requirement cannot be achieved through this project. However, we will improve that condition from 0% up to 10%. So just for clarification, the current condition of no open space is the allowed nonconformity. We are actually improving that condition by increasing about 10%. With respect to the front yard, we're currently at 20 feet 6 inches with 50 feet being required. Under our original plan that we submitted, we do indicate that there is no change to that front setback. However, again, as the chair, and I'm sure the members of the committee are aware, any increase in existing nonconformity or the creation of any new nonconformity requires only a special permit under the section that we've cited and as cited in the site plan review letter. And therefore, we do have an option to, and certainly subject to the subcommittee's discretion, to provide an architectural overhang. I'll explain that in a moment when we get to the elevation. But that might be the only item that we're actually increasing with respect to the existing nonconformity. With respect to the rear yard, 50 feet is required, I'm sure as the subcommittee is aware. We are at a current condition of 21 feet 1 inch. We're not changing any of that, so that will remain as the existing nonconformity. I would point out that we do include or incorporate a total of 26 parking spaces that do not presently exist on the site. Although the non-conforming condition presently exists, that would be improved and certainly to a compliant level in the TED district. So that's just a quick overview of the particular items that we need to address with respect to the special permit. We can jump down, perhaps the slide, I can jump through these very quickly. Slide 5. Yeah, I would see some street views here just to orient the members of the subcommittee of the existing structure. As you can see, it's pretty nondescript, and we would be proposing to demolish that in its entirety. We can probably flip through those very quickly until we get down to, let's say, maybe slide 11, Madam Clerk. Okay, so our existing conditions plan shows existing site along with the structure that is located on the site. And then our proposed changes that we would be including on slide 12 would incorporate the parking spaces, if we can jump down to that as well. Slide 12. Yeah, I think that we had one that had, I think there was one right after that that actually had, that would be it right there. Yeah, so that's the proposed condition. So we show the orientation of the parking on the site. Access will still be off of Lee Burbank Highway, so there's an existing curb cut on site presently. I do not believe we're intending to modify that, although we will look into that, and perhaps that may require some additional conversations with the Department of Transportation with respect to any alterations of that curb cut. If we go down to the next slide, actually let's go down to we probably can go to slide 16 to show the floor plans. Next one after that, yeah. Yeah, I think further down. Here we go. So as we can see, the reprogramming of the entire space includes a number of just divisions of offices and some open conference space in the main level. We do, again, intend to use this for the operations for capital waste, and that is an existing use and current condition presently. Jump down to slide 17. We can look at the elevations. We have our first iteration. This is the first one is the one before, I believe. So I mentioned earlier that our first pass at this did not incorporate an overhang. The overhang would be towards the front of the building. I can let Mr. Zackerson talk a little bit about the thought process in adding the overhang for some architectural details. So Eric, if you can give us that.
In this version, we were, the second floor extended out just a few inches, kind of an architectural detail. And as we were going through this, the idea came across that perhaps the front should be pulled forward a few more feet so that it becomes the rain coverage, so that as people are entering the building, water isn't entering into through the doors, and that the space in front of it is kind of comfortable for people to gather themselves as they come into the space. So
I think we illustrate
This-
that in the next slide.
the next slide shows the overhang on the front, and we removed any overhang off of the rear of the building so that we maintain that 21-foot one at the rear.
You can go to the rendering.
Oh, and then the next slide should be the rendering? Yes, and so this is the intent. On that first floor, we've got the main entrance lobby, a small conference room, and a call center facing the street, and beyond that, offices and conference rooms, and on the second floor, more offices and conference room space.
So that is the last slide. I will suggest to the subcommittee that because the use that we're proposing isn't allowed use in the TED district, this is merely a reconstruction and update of a building that's previously existed at this site. We do not intend to create what I would suggest is any further nonconformity on this site that is detrimental to the surrounding context. Again, as this subcommittee is well aware, this is a pretty industrial area, and the use here is quite consistent with the types of uses that the City of Revere anticipates or intends for this location. And therefore, we believe that the standards for a special permit can be met easily with respect to this proposal, and is actually a benefit to the city ultimately to allow for this type of use. With that, Mr. Chairman, I'm happy to answer any questions or address any comments of the members of the subcommittee.
Thank you. Any committee members? Wow. This is an easy night here, huh? Please, read the conditions.
Site plan review has submitted a few conditions for the special permit. One, site demolition and cleanup shall include removal of all dumpsters, storage, and waste containers from the site. Two, a sewer connection and water connection permit must be obtained from the DPW for all new construction. The city engineer and DPW superintendent must review and approve the proposed sewer service and water service plan, as well as the stormwater management plan. Three, the final plans must be reviewed and approved by the fire department. Four, all existing drains, water, and sewer lines within the site to be abandoned and shall be capped at the main and removed. And five, the building design and materials plan, as well as the landscaping, streetscape, and parking layout plan shall be approved by the site plan review committee.
So what's the will of the committee to move forward?
I'd like to put in a motion
Okay.
to move it to the council
Right,
for
thank you,
favorable recommendation.
thank you. Madam Clerk?
Shall the zoning subcommittee offer a favorable recommendation to the city council to grant the relief requested, subject to those conditions? Counselor Argenzio?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Guarino Sawaya?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Jaramillo?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. And Counselor Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes. The special permit has received a favorable recommendation and will be forwarded to the full city council this evening.
Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next special permit request is that of Natalia Maria Catano Gomez, 85 Arlington Street, Revere, Mass., requesting a special permit for a Class II auto sales use at 195 American Legion Highway.
Attorney Simeone.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Attorney Larry Simeone. I have a law office at 300 Broadway, Revere, Massachusetts. I presently represent my client, Natalia Maria Cosmo Gomez. She is a resident of 85 Arlington Street, apartment number 2 in Revere, Massachusetts. She has she's looking to attain a special permit in order for her to get a Class 2 license and then go to the commission. The property is currently 190 ALH Realty, LLC, and the resident agent is Vincent R. Conti. The particular address is 195 American Legion Highway, Revere, Massachusetts. The prior Class 2 owner was a company called Millennium Motors. They operate the used car facility there for approximately 3 years, and subsequently Millennium allowed that used car license to lapse sometime in February 28, 2005, leaving no Class 2 license on the premises. The property, in accordance with the City of Revere's Assessor's Office, is in the IP district, and the district is, this particular property is approximately 1.801 acres. Given the lapse of the license by Millennium, my client must seek, prior to filing an application for secondhand license users with the city's licensing commission, a special permit in accordance with the use regulations of the City of Revere zoning law. At that point, we've already discussed with you. I'd ask you if you have any questions. My client is here, and I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any committee members? Oh, we have the ward councilor here.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, Anthony Cogliandro, 105 Newman Street. This is a no-brainer. I've spoken with Attorney Simeoni. This new owner promises they won't let this license lapse this time. This is just paperwork at this point. It's the same business at the same location, same use. I've also spoken with Mr. Conti, the property owner, and he's fully on board as well, and so am I. Thank you.
Thank you for your input.
Motion for a favorable recommendation?
If you'll read the conditions, please, Madam Clerk.
Site plan review has issued a couple of conditions for this special permit. One, the Class 2 license shall be subject to the review and approval of the License Commission and shall not exceed the sale of 20 vehicles on the site. Two, the parking layout plan shall be reviewed and approved by the Fire Department and Site Plan Review Committee. And three, no vehicles shall be parked in a manner which will encroach with any travel aisle or site entrance or exit.
Any problem with those conditions? No, no problems. Okay.
Motion
So
for a favorable recommendation with the conditions?
here we go. Roll call.
Shall the zoning subcommittee offer a favorable recommendation to grant the relief requested, subject to those conditions, to the full city council? Councilor Argenzio?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Guarino Sawaya?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Jaramillo?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. And Chairman Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes, the special permit has received a favorable recommendation for the council this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Next up are the zoning ordinances in zoning subcommittee. A zoning ordinance further amending the Revere revised ordinances relative to off-street parking.
Councilor Kelly?
Good evening. This is my motion, and basically what this motion is doing is taking away the authority of the Zoning Board of Appeals to grant parking variances and requiring that that reductions in parking that are laid out in our zoning code would then be under the jurisdiction or purview or authority under the city council and require a special permit instead. I think, at least what I hear, the most common complaint regarding street congestion, off-street parking, not enough parking, is really becoming a problem in the city. At least that's what I've been hearing from residents, and I experience it myself. So I think that these decisions would be more proper to be made by a body such as the city council, whereas we are elected officials and we answer directly to the people. The Zoning Board of Appeals are made up of members that are appointed. So I would like to make this change. I know that in doing a little bit of research, there were 51 parking variances granted over the last 4 years. To me, that does seem excessive. And again, I think we should give this more careful consideration, and it should be under the purview of a body that consists of elected officials. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Any members? Counselor Argenzio.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I understand the intent of Councilor Kelly, but I feel as though we have a zoning board of appeals for a reason, and the reason we have a zoning board of appeals is to make decisions non-political. So my experience with the zoning board of appeals has been positive. So I don't feel that this is something that should be under the purview of the city council. We have a zoning board of appeals. They're qualified individuals, and I'm comfortable leaving it with them. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Guarino Sawaya.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I agree with my fellow counselor, Paul Argenzio, because we choose these people. As the council, we have the final say on whether they get to be on that committee or not. So we should have the faith in them to do their job. Now, my question is, Councilor Kelly had mentioned 51 were granted. How many actually came up in front of the committee in the 4 years? 250, 300, 400? I need that number in order to make a decision for something like that, when only 51 were granted in 4 years. It's not that excessive. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Novoselsky.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I tend to agree with my colleagues. I feel comfortable with the Zoning Board of Appeals handling this. I know there was an attempt to make Zoning Board of Appeals an elected position, which we all shot down. And, I feel comfortable with the way it is now. And also, when you go with parking, if it's only the parking, one specific item for parking, I don't believe any of those that were approved were just for parking. They were for a big project. So, I feel comfortable with the zoning keeping it. Thank you.
Any other committee members have any input on this? No. Okay. We have a couple of options. We could leave this in committee for further discussion, or we could vote this out tonight. It's up to the committee.
I'm going to,
Yep. You want to make a motion to
Okay.
vote?
Make a motion that we take a vote on it.
Okay. Madam Clerk.
Well, isn't it worded for favorable, and then we say yes or no?
Shall the zoning subcommittee offer a favorable recommendation to the city council to approve the zoning ordinance? Counselor Argenzio.
No.
No. Counselor Guarino Sawaya.
nope.
No. Counselor Jaramillo.
No.
No. Counselor Novoselsky.
No.
No. And Chairman Zambudo.
No.
No, the zoning ordinance has not received a favorable recommendation.
Next up.
Next item is a zoning ordinance further amending Title 17 of the revised ordinances of the City of Revere, establishing a definition and use for food trucks.
Mr. Director, I don't know if that's your title, though. What is your title?
Technically, I guess, Chief of Planning Community Development.
So, Mr. Chief, please.
Thank you. Well, I feel like I spoke enough the previous public hearing about this item. I know at the last meeting, there was a request to delineate the various locations that are being called out here as locations where food trucks would be permissible. I believe Claire and Zerillo had done so and passed out maps to all of you. So hopefully you can identify those districts. Again, it was RC2, PDD1, the HB, and the TED districts are the 4 that are proposed to be an allowed use. We're certainly open to suggestion and discussion here, but we thought that would be a helpful starting point.
Mr. Chairman, If
Councilor Aramillo.
If Chief Skorowski could kindly repeat those districts, the ones that you had suggested, the ones you just said. If you could just repeat them.
Oh,
at any
sure. PDD1, which is Suffolk Downs, HB, the TED District, and RC2.
RC2. Where's our?
RC2 is right along the beach.
Got it. And there's a couple HB, is that right?
There are quite a few kind of scattered throughout.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Councilor Guarino Suarez.
Thank you. Tom, quick question. Is there anything around, along Squire Road near the mobile gas station being planned, or anything in that area of Ward 6?
So certainly on the northern end of Squire Road would be the HB district. The other side is GB. So yes. And I believe Councilor Cogliandro had brought up the Sozio site. That would be one of many throughout that area where this would be eligible.
Were they talking about Stop and Shop?
Stop and Shop would,
I'm asking because a constituent called and asked that question.
I believe, yeah, Stop and Shop would be eligible.
Okay.
I'm not sure if the property owner would do that in a grocery store, but it's possible.
Thank you.
Councilor Argenzio.
Thank you, Mr. Skorowski, and Mr. Chairman. The process to apply for a license, could you just run through that?
Through
process?
the License Commission?
Yes.
If Ms. Inzerillo is here, I'd prefer her answer that question. Oh, I would have too. I didn't see Maggie in the room. Maggie would answer that much more effectively than myself.
If I may? Yeah. The process would be a lot like most other things. They have to apply for it. They have to file an application with us. They would have to advertise where they're going. If they want to park in, say, the Stop and Shop lot, they need property owner permission or some sort of arrangement that is signed by the people who own it. And then the License Commission can approve it or disapprove it depending on everything. If someone were to come and speak to the meeting, a resident, counselor, anybody, then naturally that would be taken into consideration.
Okay, so as an example, the north side of Squire Road, I know there's a couple of restaurants in that area. Would they have any input?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, so they would be notified?
Yes.
Okay.
We would make sure that there's being notification around. Yeah.
Okay, so what's the parameters for that notification?
We would have to determine it. Normally with us, it's just direct abutters,
Right.
except liquor licenses, which is a separate world.
Right.
But there's no reason why the License Commission could not decide it needed to be, say, 100 feet or something like that.
Okay, so say we would, for an example, for sake of discussion, Northgate Shopping Center, where there are a couple of restaurants. So if somebody applied to put a food truck there, everybody in the Northgate Shopping Center complex would be notified?
Yeah. And,
Okay.
and in context, I mean, it's all owned by the same people, so as soon as you notify the people you're under, you're good.
Okay. All right,
So-
thank you very much.
No, you're welcome, anytime.
Councilor Novoselsky.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tom, in looking all these locations, these all seem to be commercial areas with large parking lots.
Generally, those districts, I'd say with the exception of PDD1, which is Suffolk Downs, are generally the more highway-oriented districts where you get that more, suburban typology with large parking lots, things like that.
Yeah. I'm looking at that location on Lee Burbank Highway coming out of Furlong Drive where that one truck is. Is that considered PDD1 area?
So that one, I believe, would be considered either HB or TED. I believe it's actually the TED district.
Okay. Ted? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Counselor. Anyone else? That's Ted, right?
Move for a favorable recommendation.
All right, we have a motion to move this forward.
Shall the zoning subcommittee offer a favorable recommendation to approve a zoning ordinance establishing a definition and use for food trucks? Counselor Argenzio?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Greeno Sawaya?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Jaramillo?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes, and Chairman Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes, the ordinance, zoning ordinance has received a favorable recommendation. And lastly, an ordinance further amending Title V of the revised ordinances of the City of Revere relative to food trucks.
It's kind of almost the same vote, right?
It pretty much is, because
Yeah.
one's establishing zoning,
Right.
the
Okay.
other is taking it out of Title V.
Okay. We got a motion for a favorable.
Shall the zoning subcommittee provide a favorable recommendation to the full city council to approve an ordinance relative to food trucks concerning Title V? Counselor Argenzio?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Greeno Sawaya?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Jaramillo?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes, and Chairman Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes, the ordinance has received a favorable recommendation and will be forwarded to the full city council this evening. There's no further business, Chairman.
And thank you all for your attendance.